there's immediate connections, you know.
Yeah, I just love when cultures cross and collide and intermix. I mean, I know some of your clientele. You've got some executives over there that wear suit and ties to work every day. Probably shed that off in their, Beamer out front, or
Right.
like come in and try to fit in for a few minutes. I know. I even look at, okay, what am I wearing today to get my hair cut? Like kicked out. It's kind of funny. So, like we talked about, you're just so busy over there, and that success. And so, how many years are we now? 2011, almost 7
Yeah,
years.
July will be 7 years.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's great.
it's incredible.
And I'm sure it hasn't all been great, but there was a point there where you decided, okay, I'm going to expand. What was your
Yes.
first expansion project?
So my first expansion project was a barber supply and men's grooming retail location in the same shopping center as the barber shop.
Okay.
And that actually started off as a little pipe dream before even owning a barbershop. I used to work in San Clemente early in my career, and there's never been a supply shop for barbers in Orange County. They've been in San Diego, Long Beach, LA, but Orange County itself never really had a barber-specific supply shop. And I'd sit back with a friend of mine, and we would talk about it. And the idea of having a supply shop kind of fizzled out, because I had to focus in on actually cutting hair.
Yeah, sure.
But once I felt like I had some foothold in business, I said, let's try to expand a little bit, and I opened up this retail shop. And I had it for about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. I ended up closing it down, but it was an incredible experience. I enjoyed every minute of it, and it was fun to have I don't want to say failure, because I don't really see it as a failure,
Right.
but a step back,
Right.
It definitely humbled me a little bit, and it grounded me a little bit more, I think, in business.
What was it about the shop that didn't work? What made it not the success that your barbershop was?
It was me. I could not dedicate the amount of energy to it that it deserved. In the process of opening that supply shop, I opened my second location for another barber shop. So I had two barber shops and the supply shop, and I was managing it all on my own. I had managers at the locations that were on site and did day-to-day and stuff like that, but the overall, greater good was what was on my shoulders. And unfortunately, I just could not carve out enough time to really dedicate to the retail that it deserved.
Right.
Yeah. So I had to take a strong look at myself on that one. I had to, see where I value my time and value my efforts, and I felt like the retail just wasn't it.
Yeah. I know it's tough. I mean, it's a totally different environment. You had a girl that worked over there. What was her name?
Sam Stone.
Oh yeah, she was awesome, man.
Oh,
like
she
you
was
walk in
incredible.
there, she was like, she made you feel at home. I mean, she was trying to be the Corey of the supply store, right?
And she really was. I mean, she was the face of it. She was my first manager there, and actually helped me launch it, and was a part of the whole process. And I give her a ton of credit. She did a great thing for me and the supply shop. She really helped it with its success.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to see, you look at your barbershop and how busy it is, and you think, okay, anything I do is going to turn to gold, because, we got a line out the door. And to be fair to you, you were doing a pretty good job pimping it out. Like, oh, you need some debt, whatever, go next door. And like, wait, you have it right here. You send us all over there. I mean, it wasn't for lack of trying.
Yeah.
So I know I was super relieved when you told me you were opening up your other store, because, well, I don't know, like everybody else, I feel like I'm too busy to be sitting in your chairs, right?
Sure.
So I was excited that you opened up your store in Lake Forest, right? And,
Yep.
you were kind of pimping that out way before it opened up, and it was going to be a bigger spot, and new location, a neat center. I mean, that's where we're at today, and the center's pretty awesome. I mean, the parking sucks already, but you got a lot of good food here.
But it is. They've redesigned the whole shopping center, and they're even adding a little more to it, and it's a really good place.
So you got some time under your belt running a successful barbershop. You need to open up a second place. You've got some experience in business now. How did you decide on this location over here?
Like this specifically, or opening a second location?
No, this specifically, because, coming from the restaurant business and my background, I know how important it is to pick a location, right?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people get hung up on, is this the right spot? Is the rent or the neighbors?
Yeah.
And, how do people make that decision, or how did you make the decision to be here?
My tactics, I don't know if they're the best, but they work for me.
That's what we want to know about.
I have to see things. I have to touch things. I have to be hands-on with it. So when I decided to open a second location, I went to a friend of mine that was a commercial realtor, and he emailed me a list of available properties in the cities that I was looking.
Yeah.
And I would, any free time I had, I would just go for a drive.
Yeah.
And I would drive around all hours a day, nighttime, early in the morning. I wanted to see the feel of each center. I wanted to see what these locations brought and how I liked it. Before even stepping in the building, really. I just wanted to see the area. Because my big thing is I'm a neighborhood barbershop. So my next location has to fit into the neighborhood.
Right.
And I went to this location, and the whole place was under construction. I mean, half of it was a dirt lot. It was nothing like it looks today.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first locations I had looked at. But so I didn't really pay too much attention to it, and I kept going around and around and around, but I kept getting drawn back to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this goes back to your gut feeling that we were talking about. So I just kept getting drawn back to it, and it by far was not the cheapest. It by far was not the easiest to handle. It was, it's much different business-wise than the other location as far as the landlord and the property owners and managers. It was a lot more intense for me.
Yeah, sure.
But this shopping center used to have a bar called the Gypsy Den that I grew up in watching punk rock bands.
I remember that place.
The first house I bought is 2 miles from here. My mom's business growing up is a mile from here. The Peppino's next door is been here for 30-some years. It's a staple Italian restaurant, and it's when we first moved to California, that was the first restaurant that we were told to go to.
Wow.
So
okay.
It's in the process of my gut feeling bringing me back to it, I started going back and seeing why am I connected to it.
You said something that just sounds so genius to me. The Italian restaurant that's been there for 30 plus years that everybody goes to. Right there, just says traffic comes here regardless of what else is here. As long as they're here, there's been 30 years worth of traffic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also great.
It's also funny you didn't mention the strip club that used to be here a long time ago, right?
Yeah. Well, it's been gone a while.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
There's just dust over there now. Yeah. You also said you go with your gut. Well, literally here, every great food restaurant is in this parking lot.
I have to bring my lunch now because there's just too many good options to pick from.
Right? Oh, my gosh. So what I do know now coming over here, I was all relieved in the beginning because great, there won't be any wait.
Yeah.
You've got to wait over here now.
Yeah. But this is an exciting time for the shop because it's now, it immediately brings me back to the growth of the first shop, now I get to do it all over again.
So I came here 2 weeks ago. I had a photo shoot that was going on in Mexico. I really needed a haircut bad. And you were out of town, right? I don't know. I know your perfect schedule. But so I walk in. I don't even say hi yet. And everyone's like, he's not here. They know who everybody's customers are, too. These guys are in tune.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to take a break today. Who's going to screw up my hair?
Right? I'll fix it for you next time.
You can fix it today.
Yeah.
See, that's the benefit of doing the radio show here, man. I'm first in line right now.
Too good.
So, listen, Matt, it's been fun hearing about your career. And I guess just a final few points to make here today. When I look at your stores and what you've done here and just the amount of customers, look, I came from the restaurant business. When you got a line of people, you're making money.
Yeah.
So just for you, what do you define as success? Because I look at you, I'm like, man, Corey's got it all figured out. And we didn't even talk about Musink for you, right? You're a little cash cow.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, what is Musink?
Musink is I'm co-producer of a tattoo convention in Orange County. It's called Musink. We've grown it over the last 11 years. It's the largest.
Yeah, just 11 years, right?
Yeah. It's a tattoo convention and music festival. Travis Barker is our host and partner on it, and it's just a killer show. that we have every year here at the Orange County Fairgrounds.
I got to tell you, and thank you for inviting me that one year to promote my brand. It was when I was with Azuñia Tequila, and we were trying to build our name out there.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, bring your 40-foot RV and put it right here. And by the way, we're not even going to charge you that much. I'm like, this guy is so cool. But you know what? The event was awesome. You know, I never, and I'm a tattoo guy, but not like the culture there, right? But I just was so impressed with the people and the kindness and the good times that were had. I mean, yes, there were some people getting drunk, but you know, there are some genuine artists, tattoo artists that are passionate, that are incredible from around the world that were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The music was incredible. They had some cars on display that were, I mean, it just really, it's a really good time. I think that's
it's
why
a really
you guys,
good lifestyle event. You know, we really tie in the music with the tattoos and the art culture, and then the low and slow car show. We really try to, you know, bring in a lifestyle and bring those people in for it, you know.
Yeah, so 11 years, a long time. Already working on next year and bigger, badder, better.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this year was amazing. We did 23,000 in attendance over 3 days. Definitely our biggest year yet, which is incredible. You know, at 11 years to have our largest show yet is just amazing. So, yeah, we're already thinking about next year how to bring it back even better.
That's great, man. So, and I love that you're partnered with Travis Barker on that. I know you've got a lot of great people behind the scenes there that make that whole thing happen. You know, getting to work with you on that one project for us was pretty amazing. So, well, we'll look forward to seeing what happens next year there. I don't even ask for tickets. Like, there's no way. I mean, everybody's hitting Corey up. So, okay, well, let's just go back to you know, defining, you know, like I said, it looks like you run a really successful business. I look at your life on social media. You got a couple kids. I mean, it seems like you got it all figured out. So define success for us. What does that look like to you?
Success for me, I think it's I'm a busy guy. Like my whether I was in business or what, my mind is constantly racing. So I've had to learn to balance that. Thankfully, with the family and the kids, that's helped a lot. For me, success is being able to provide for them a life that is comfortable and full of, you know, worldly lessons. I want to instill certain things into them that I enjoyed, such as traveling and, you know, good food and friends and family and things like that. On a monetary side, like, yeah, we're making money, we're doing good, but I really take pride in that. You know, I've got 15 barbers that work for me, and they're all living a good life. You know, so I like seeing it trickle down. You know, I like seeing everyone eat. That's a big source of pride for me.
Oh, your boy Max. He knows how to eat and drink.
Oh yeah,
I follow that guy. He's having a good time.
Absolutely, and I love that. You know,
yeah.
If those guys aren't having a good time, then I'm doing something wrong. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I think I'm at a point now for me where it's not so much about money. It is obviously like money helps the world go around. You know,
sure.
Everyone needs it. But I'm really, at this point in my life, enjoying like business and expansion and kind of like seeing what else I can get into. What's this body and mind of mine capable of?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just ride it.
When I first got in, you're like, I got so much on my mind that I want to do.
Yeah.
so okay, well, you know, we've heard your incredible story. What would be your advice to people that are listening to the show that maybe they were attracted to the name of the show? The answer is yes, right? In business and all things life. So what would be your advice to people when it comes to saying yes to something?
Go for it. You know, like I think it's easy to throw out like these cliche motivational things, but really in the long run, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter win, lose, fail, whatever, just go for it. You know, you'll never know unless you say like yes. You know, you'll never go beyond where you're at unless you push yourself and unless you try. And at the root of that is have faith in yourself. You know, you got to believe in yourself. You know, you ask people to believe in you, but you have to believe in you.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, and I think if you can trust in yourself, trust in your gut, trust in your value and your abilities, saying yes gets easier and easier, you know?
Yeah.
And then it goes to the other side where you can say no.
which we've all done, right? Listen, I was going to probably ask a few more questions because, like you warned me in the beginning, we both probably could talk a lot. But that was such a great point that you just made. I think we'll leave the show on that, and I really appreciate you being on my first guest.
Thank you.